Okay, recording. Happy days. Hello, everyone. Pete here. Welcome to my restyled office. We are finally there. Got a proper bookshelf here with puzzles on top because we haven't got quite enough books, and a 6,000 piece Lego set that I'm still only about halfway through after a year, and lots of books. Okay, the other three shelves are books, and I've still got a bookshelf over here, but that's mostly Joe's books. And we've got pictures, doop, doop, doop. people, people's insides, and there's one over there that you can't see. So this is nice. This is good. We've got a nice carpet. We've got all kinds of good things. Anyway, we're not here to talk about my new arrangement of office furniture. So I have been rereading, as you know. I like to reread books from time to time. This is one of the David Hawkins books. Was it Discovery of the Presence of God? This one, Devotional Non-Duality. And I think I read it. I think this is the second time I've read this one. Some of them I've read 3 or even 4 times. I think this is the second time. And it's quite interesting to notice the pages I folded over the first time and the pages that I'm folding over this time. As the pages I was folding over originally were, yes, some interesting things, but were kind of more of the facts of this, and like, where can I find more information on this kind of stuff? What other teachers or what other books and what other things could I go and read? And do you know what? I've got some of them sat on my bookshelf, and they're good things. But now I've read it through again, it's like I'm seeing different things. So if you have self-help books at home that maybe you read them once 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe even longer ago, or maybe not that long ago, it's just a reminder, read them again, because what you see in them a second time or a third time or a fourth time will be different to what you saw originally or the previous time. So it's always very helpful to go back, because the person you are now is different to the person you were 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, etc. So you will see it with new eyes. You will see your books or whatever material with new eyes. Same as if you were to go and watch back some of the videos of me doing this 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, looking at some of the older videos and going, I didn't hear that the first time. It's kind of why I repeat stuff, because we don't always hear things. We're not always ready to hear certain things the first time round, or even the second time around, or even the 10th time round. So it might be worth kind of scanning back through the Facebook group. I think all the videos, some of the videos might have disappeared now, or going back through, in fact, this would probably be the better way. Ask me, hey, Pete, what's the video I need to watch? And I will kind of muscle test the ones, because on YouTube, you can't actually see them because they're unlisted. So you can't go onto my YouTube channel and just go, I want to find this one. Facebook may have deleted some, but not all, which I haven't downloaded. But I think the vast majority are either on YouTube or still on Facebook via a link. So, in fact, no, they will be. So yeah, they're all there. They're all there on Facebook. It will just be a link to YouTube. There won't be a kind of a live video in Facebook anymore. Certainly not recent ones. Anywho, on to the new thing I found, I suppose. I don't know if it's really that new. Again, maybe a new perspective on something I've perhaps said before. We are too polite with our thoughts. Okay, do you know what? I don't think I have said this before. Okay, we are too polite with our thoughts. Let's think about a real situation. A real situation. You're at a coffee shop, or you're, I don't know, around a dinner table with family or friends, and you're having a conversation. That conversation goes from something that you want to talk about and something that you enjoy to something that you don't want to talk about. And because we're polite, because we're British, I mean, maybe this isn't just a British thing, this might just be what we do. We tend to sit there and we get involved with the situation, we get involved with the conversation, even though it's something you either maybe don't know much about, you um, don't really like, it makes you feel icky, or, it makes you feel scared, or it makes you feel sad, or it makes you feel, some kind of feeling that you don't really want to feel, so uncomfortable. Okay, so what we tend to do is we stick around, we nod politely, we get involved in the conversation. Okay, and we might add our own thoughts and opinions to what that conversation is all about. Okay, it could be about politics, could be about war, could be about things. It could be about all kinds of topics. Okay, anything that kind of gets our goat, basically. But what we don't do is we don't get up and walk away. Okay, or what we often don't do is there's another option. We don't have to get up and walk away because that, in a real life situation, that could be, I suppose, rude. We don't just sit there and go in silence, kind of not disinterested necessarily, but not getting involved, not allowing your emotions to kind of rise up and down and get all angry at you know politics or whatever kind of bad situation you're talking about. Okay, we choose to just sit there. Okay, and the reason we do that is, especially in real life, is because these are friends, these are family, um, and we kind of just don't want to disregard them. We want to be polite. Okay, we don't want to be seen as rude. But we're talking about thoughts here. Okay, and you can be as rude as you like to your thoughts because it's only you that you're talking to. So when you notice a thought, a conversation going on in your head, one that you don't like, you can visualize this if you like, get up and walk away. You just go, I'm not interested in that. Okay, it sounds simple, it sounds crazily stupid. Okay, um, but let's talk about value. We get what we value. Okay, the things in life that are showing up for us, the things we like, the things we don't like, even the things we don't like, are things we value. Okay, and how can we tell value? Okay, how can we tell what's valuable to us? Okay, what the things that are valuable to us are the things we spend time thinking about. Okay, that could be good stuff, it could be bad stuff. So what we want to do is take away the time that we spend thinking about bad stuff. Okay, the time we spend thinking, basically. Um, so we want to be able to notice that conversation going on and say, stop, I don't want that. Okay. A error that I think could come up, and it's already come up for me in the last, kind of few days of doing this, are going, oh, I enjoy this. This is actually quite a fun game. So if I think it's a fun game, and that's me adding value to the game. So therefore, my brain is going to start coming up with more conversations I don't like, so that I can play the game of telling it to shut up. Yeah, so that's making total sense to me. Okay, hopefully it is to you. So that's your task, is to notice other people's conversations. Okay, you might overhear, you're out and about, you're just doing your own thing, and you can hear other people talking about things you don't want to hear about. Okay, the news. I mean, they could be complaining about the weather. Okay, it could be any topic of conversation that's like they're complaining, they're talking about pain, injury, illness, disease, um, again, wars, politics, whatever, whatever, whatever. Okay, you can notice their conversations because essentially they're just another version of you. Okay, and they're putting something out into the world that we don't want to hear. We don't want that the value of that topic going up and up. Um, so we also want to notice it about other people and go, right, I don't want to hear about that. Okay, so you're talking to yourself, you're talking to the universe, you're talking potentially, God, if that's the way you want to see it, however you want to see it. Okay, or your subconscious. I don't want to hear that. Okay, I'm not interested in that. Okay, and maintain kind of neutrality. Okay, it's not a fun game. It's kind of a game, but it's not. You don't place huge value on it as well. Okay. And that, by doing that, your brain is going to start, or stop, I should say, it's going to stop going towards those conversations. It's going to stop ruminating. It's going to stop playing over situations that you've been in over and over again. And then they're going to show up less and less and less in life. Okay. It is unlikely to be an instant, it's like a switch. Okay. But they'll show up less. And then your mind will start to clear. Your mind will have fewer thoughts, just thoughts in general. And that's where magic happens. Okay. Again, this is crazy. I think I reread this. I mean, I only finished it last night or the night before, after rereading it again, and it's taken me, I don't know, it took me 5 or 6 days to get through. It's the type is relatively large, and the pages and kind of got good big borders. So even though it looks relatively thick, um, it's not as thick as it appears. Uh, I have had so much more space in my head. There have been far fewer thoughts, and I've been able to catch the runaway train much, much faster, much, much easier since this is something I've known for a while, and it's just been so much easier to catch it. Okay. So yeah, think about it as this having a conversation with friends. Okay. Um, and it's like, I'm going to get up and leave. I don't want this conversation. Okay, I've done it with my kids. They start gobbing off, da 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 da, having tantrums or whatever, refusing to do things. I'll walk away. I don't even say anything. Okay, I'll stop. Sometimes, yes, I still maybe repeat myself a couple of times. I kind of let the value of the argument come up. Um, placing value on the argument and being right, and I must be right, okay, because they're wrong, and I'm an adult and they're a child, and they must do what I say. And I just go, do you know what? I want to focus. I want to value peace and calm. So I simply walk away. Right? And I don't know if it's not strange at all, really, because it's kind of what the books and all the information that I've read over the years has said. Is like they just start doing the stuff. Okay, the stuff I ask them to do, it gets done. Maybe it doesn't get done quite as quickly as I would prefer, but it gets done in a much calmer way. It's good for them. It's good for me. It's good for my wife. Okay, it's good for the cats. Okay, I'm just going to quickly squiz through some more notes. That might be. Yeah, no, this is fun. Okay, so this is a bit of a quote directly from the book. Okay, 99% of the mind is already silent. Just think about that. 99% of the mind is already silent. Okay, 1% is active, but it's the 1% that we focus on. Okay. I would argue it's probably 99.9% of the mind is already silent, and it's 0.1% that is active, and it's the bit that we focus on. Okay, and I've kind of added them my own notes from that. Okay, it's that 1% or that tiny fraction from which all of our fears, illnesses, sadnesses, griefs, pains, etc., everything, okay, all of that comes from. Okay, it all comes from that 1%. Okay, the bit, and I've put it's the most fertile land of our mind. So we're focusing on this tiny fraction. It's the most fertile, and that's the bit that's having this conversation. Okay, so we're focusing on this tiny, tiny, tiny part of our mind that's having a conversation. It's complaining, it's worrying, it's scared, it's angry, it's upset. We're focusing on that. And because we're focusing on all of those things, we're increasing its value. And then by increasing its value, that's what our eyes and our ears and our senses are looking out for in the world. I really value complaining. So I'm going to hear all those people over there complaining about Keir Starmer, okay, or Rishi Sunak, or Donald Trump, or war in Ukraine, war, Putin's a bad guy, Zelensky's a bad guy, uh, Israel, and all the other bad stuff that's going on in the world. Okay, that's what I'm going to hear. That's what I'm going to see. My attention is going to be drawn to that. But if I'm doing this practice of going, oh, hang on a minute, that's the 1% of my mind. It's having a conversation, and it's having a conversation about things I don't like. Why don't I just get up and walk away? Okay, and then I'm valuing calm. Then I'm valuing peace. So then what will happen is that balance of, let's have the left hand. Okay, this is the value I'm placing on things I do not like, as high, and the value on things that I would prefer as low. That balance starts to shift. Things I prefer goes up and up and up. Things I would not prefer goes down and down and down. Then your life is changed because you're seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting things that you prefer much more often than focusing on all the things that you do not prefer. It's one of the things that meditation is all about. Okay? It's about noticing thoughts. It's about giving you time to go, hang on a minute, what am I thinking? Ah, I'm thinking about all this blur rubbish that I don't want to think about. So, okay, I'm not going to place any value on the thing I want to think about. Well, what do I want to think about? And those are the things that I've been talking about. That's the peace, the abundance, the love, the gratitude, all those kinds of things that I've been nattering on about for a number of months, possibly even a number of years. Um, yeah, and I'm going to save that bit for another day. Yeah. The final thing that I want to introduce tonight, okay, is there is a style of meditation talked about in this book, which I don't think I either understood or saw last time at all. We've kind of covered the other two. Um, style one of meditation is more of a question and answer. Okay, you're asking yourselves questions. You could be journaling, it could be diarizing, it could be those kinds of things. It's very question based. It's very coaching. Okay, you may or may not remember there's a psychologist or a psychiatrist, I can't remember which, American lady called Byron Katie. She developed something called the work, and it's based on 4 questions, which off the top of my head I can't remember. 2 of which are, is it true? 2 out of 4 questions are, is this thought true? Who would I be without this thought? I think is one of the other questions, and I can't remember the 4th one. But you can look it up. It's called thework.com if you want to go check it out. So that's kind of style 1 of meditation. It's either written or question and answer, kind of coaching style meditation. The other style of meditation, well, it's essentially what I've been doing with you guys for a very long time. It could be a range of things. So like visualization, thinking about certain words or phrases, like peace or love or feeling good feelings, focusing on emotions, okay, but the feeling of emotions. Okay, and then this third style, which again, I don't know why I didn't pick it up the first or possibly second time that I read this book, is different again. Okay, you might prefer it, you might not prefer it. Again, I've been doing this a little bit over the last few days, and it's providing a different experience. I'll just explain it. Super easy. Okay, it looks very much like any other meditation. You sit with your eyes closed, okay, and you relax. But instead of kind of allowing thoughts to come, okay, your focus is on vision. So even with your eyes closed, your eyes are still working. Your eyes never stop working. If your eyes are open, they're receiving a lot of information. And if your eyes are closed, they are receiving very minimal information. That's the only difference. So your eyes are still working with our eyes closed. And I find this works better in daylight or with lights on rather than nighttime when it's dark. But you could do it at nighttime when it's dark just to try it out. You're going to kind of still try and see. You're going to have your eyes closed and you're not going to open them. but you're going to notice what kind of vision information you're getting. And what you might notice is that there are colors, patterns, and maybe some little specks of light. And that essentially is the meditation. You sit there silently with your eyes closed, relaxing, focusing on what you can see with your eyes closed. And I think one of the very first times I did that, I got some very kind of almost like torchlight flashes, okay, very kind of small, bright lights. And I've not had that since. And I've done this, a number of times over the last few days, albeit it's only a few days and it's only a few times. Um, but again, that was very interesting. They felt very peaceful, calming, quite delightful bursts of light in my eyes. It's almost like, okay, this is the switch. This is something to do. So during meditation tonight, I would like you to try that out. And I'll be talking as per usual, but I would also like you to just have that going on. Okay, so have your hearing as kind of secondary and focus on your vision, but with your eyes closed, and see how you experience this. Okay, so what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to record this as an audio separately. I'm just going to leave this one as a video today. Um, as well. So I'm not going to fiddle around with cameras and programs over there. Okay, so if you haven't got yourself a nice, comfortable position, please do so now. And if you are, just have your eyes closed. Start breathing deeply and relaxed. So as I've just described, with your eyes closed, start noticing what you see. Maybe initially there's not very much. Maybe you're seeing all kinds of things all very suddenly. Whatever you see in your vision is what you see. There's no necessarily right or wrong. So personally, I've had some very different experiences doing this in the last few days, so may or may not be different for you. It might feel like, oh, it's just a different meditation, different form of treatment, but it might also be quite quite different. While keeping notice on your vision, just listen for the chatter in your mind. Is it still there? Is it quieter than normal, even compared to other meditations? Is it busier than normal? Just notice what's going on. There's no need to get into the emotions of things. Just continue seeing with your eyes closed. And talking while doing this is actually hard because so very few thoughts are coming right now. So if I go silent, it's because there's nothing there. There's no need to fear a silent mind. It's the ego that fills our mind with thoughts, and the ego, with a small e, is not our true self. Okay, so the ego might be feeling afraid because it's suddenly realized, hang on a minute, there's nothing for me to do now. There's no conversation to be had. There's no fun, no tricks I can play on you. Because it's through thoughts that the ego works. And if you're having fewer, then it's losing control. That's actually a good thing. Okay, there might also be a worry of who will I be without my thoughts? What will I think about? What will I talk about? Will I be able to have conversations with people? Will I be able to function normally? And the answer to all of those is yes. You'll simply be more present. When someone is talking, you will listen to their words and wait for them to fully finish before coming up with an answer, rather than coming up with an answer while they're halfway through a sentence and simply waiting for them to be quiet for half a second so you can jump in and tell them what your thoughts were. And when you're more present, when the ego has been calmed, it means you need less rest. You'll be tired less. The brain takes up a lot of energy. All that thinking costs us. It means we need to sleep more. The more we think, the more we need to sleep. Wouldn't it be great to feel less tired when you wake up in the morning? To need fewer hours of sleep? To have more focus when you're going about your day? And all without effort. There's two ways to focus. We can focus with willpower and kind of force ourselves to get through a task. And will ourselves through it with discipline. Or if we can remove our thoughts and take away the fear and the anxiety and the worry and the anger and all the other complaining thoughts about doing a task, we could just simply go about our business and get it done. As the saying goes, it's the thoughts about doing a task that make it difficult, that make it hard. If we can recognize our thoughts Tell them to stop and stop ruminating, and we'll be able to get the task done much easier, much faster, and quite possibly better. Maybe with even a smile on our faces. Just come back to your vision if you've drifted away into thoughts. Return to seeing with your eyes closed. What can you see? Remind yourself to relax. Breathe deeply. It's the ego that holds all of our false beliefs. It's all of those thoughts and beliefs control what we see, what we focus on. And then when those things show up in our life, we can say to somebody or even to ourselves, see, I told you so. I told you it wouldn't change. I told you everything's going to stay the same. I told you I'm just getting old. It's menopause. It's the bones. It's the nutrition. It's the exercise. It's the any other thing that we believe. Because our ego has taken us to seeing those things. If we can place importance on catching our thoughts, catching those complaints, catching the repetitious thoughts, catching the inner conversation, or even an outer conversation about things you would prefer not to see in the world. And catching the conversations that you overhear other people having. You place importance on the ability to do that. Give yourself permission to stop thinking. Give yourself permission to let go. Say it as a statement. I give myself permission to stop thinking. I give myself permission to let go of all illusory thoughts and beliefs. And I will to do it now. I will to have it happen for me immediately. And return back to vision if you've lost and you've focused on the words, which is fair enough. Return back to what you're seeing, through your closed eyes. Those visions, sorry, the neurons for vision at the back of your brain are still firing, whether your eyes are open or closed. You just allow them to work, allow them to see. Just be willing to see. Perhaps with our eyes closed, this is where true vision is. It's said, or I've heard, and I also believe, that sleep and our dreams is where our true nature is revealed to us. So perhaps being conscious, i.e., awake, with our eyes closed and trying to see, will help to reveal dreams to us, help us to see more clearly our subconscious mind, what it's trying to tell us when we're asleep. And if we can see that more clearly, then that can guide us, help us make decisions during the day and respond differently to the circumstances around us. Even if they're the same circumstances that you've experienced hundreds of times before. The difficulty with a child or a work colleague or a partner or a friend, the sad stuff in the news, the scary stuff in the news. And you can just respond differently to it now. Become non-attached. It doesn't mean emotionless. You don't have to become completely neutral about everything. You can be excited and enjoy the things that you would prefer to have in your life. In fact, I encourage that. That will help you to place more value on having more of it. And to finish off, we're going to focus on a feeling. Yeah? You can decide what feeling you want to focus on. Make it a positive one, obviously. Okay, maybe there's a problem in life that makes you feel upset, frustrated, confused, don't know what to do. Imagine that it is solved, not at some distant point in the future. Imagine that it's solved now, that you've already achieved it, okay, or it's already been handed to you. You don't know how it was solved, but you know now life is much sweeter. Okay, maybe you worked hard for it, maybe it just happened overnight. Just have that feeling now of whatever this problem was is now gone. And spend time sharing that feeling out, not only to yourself, but to everyone in this group. And know that the feeling you're sharing with this group may be different to the sharing of somebody else's. But because you're sharing different feelings, everyone's getting like a rainbow of different positive energy. What you're solving yourself may help somebody else solve their own problems. Okay, a different one that they're not thinking about right now. By solving it in you, you help solve it in other people. And then by sharing it around, letting it flow out of you into everyone else, you're enhancing the effect further. And as we solve our own challenges, the world just gets a little bit brighter, and it gets easier not only for us, but for everyone else. By working on you or yourself, you're working on everyone. It affects the people closest to you most. But it will ripple out and have positive effects on all kinds of people. You have no idea how far these ripples will go, who they will touch, who will have a new idea based on your work. So just share that feeling around, give it freely. Give it abundantly. It will never run out. You may forget about it for a while, but it is always there. And you can always return to it. Feel as if everything in your life has worked out perfectly. Even the stuff that we think we didn't want, the stuff that we could see as bad, even that was somehow absolutely perfect. The next time you're in traffic, you're in a perfect traffic jam. Okay, next time you're late for work, you are perfectly late for work. Next time you're early for work, you're perfectly early for work. Next time you go to bed, you're perfectly late to bed. You did exactly the right thing. Okay, everything in your life, as weird as this may sound, is absolutely as it's meant to be. It's either there because it is absolutely the right thing, or it's there to steer you. And either way, it's perfect. Okay, when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Stay relaxed and just enjoy that feeling a little bit longer. Just have one question for those in live. When you had your eyes closed and you were seeing, what did you see? And if you're watching this on catch up, please leave a comment as well. It'd be interesting to know if you either had a vision or if you saw red dots or just stuff in your sight. Was it just kind of blank and you didn't really see anything at all? I kind of want to know what experience did you have? You can put it in the chat if you like. Okay, so we've got star constellations, so it's like almost like zooming in and zooming out. A thumbs up will do, or a thumbs down. Yeah, okay, cool. um, I like that. Yeah, so when I see lights, I actually kind of see patterns and movement, more so than lights and stars and stuff. Hey, so yeah, I just kind of see shapes. If you imagine ink in water and you're giving it a bit of a stir, okay? Or like maybe orange squash. I don't know. No, ink in water, giving it a bit of a stir. It's like swirling around, a bit like a magic eye um, thing, picture, whatever it is. Yeah, it's kind of more what I'm seeing, and kind of the occasional kind of, okay, there's a light spots over there, and there's light and dark areas within that. That's kind of what I'm seeing. There's no right and wrong. Okay, whatever you see is whatever you see. Um, David Hawkins kind of says, yeah, you're kind of looking out for lights, okay, little sparks in there. So star constellations moving around sounds kind of like what he was describing in the book. Okay, so might have a sleeper on board. So I'm going to sign off for tonight, and I'll get this video out to you as soon as possible. Thank you for joining. Thank you for catching up, and I will see you again uh, next week. So cool. Adios. See you soon.